ladies and gentlemen, welcome back your lovely faces to a brand new video here on the channel. And this time we actually got some court documents to go over. It's been a little while since we've done court documents here on the channel, but I do want to say as well that with the Vanity Fair article that recently came out regarding Amber Heard and all them filing their briefs and everything else, they're not the briefs. Me, myself, Linda, Les, Stevie, everyone in the background, we've been talking about this. And with these are not the briefs. And it's funny to see somewhere like Vanity Fair get this mixed up. But these are, what we've got by here, are the designations of assignments of error by the trial court, which is actually what we got by here, because we're going to jump straight into it, as you can see by here. These are what they got. And seeing that, Vanity Fair and all these places are saying, oh, look at this, we got all of this. And it's like, yeah, you don't even know what you're doing, which is kind of interesting. So we got appellant's designation of assignments of error comes now appellant AH by counsel and designates the following as her assignments of error pursuant to Rule 5A25. The trial court erred in declining to dismiss the action on the ground of forum non-convenience. The trial court erred in denying the supplemental plea in bar and in ruling that a November 2nd judgment of the United Kingdom High Court of Justice, Queen's Bench, does not foreclose Mr. Depp's claims. Again, with that one, it's kind of interesting because both judges, Judge White and Judge Penny, said it wasn't a fair thing, and she wasn't a part of the UK hearing. She was only a witness. It wasn't her, which, seeing that she's still pushing that forward, that's like, yeah, you haven't got any grounds for that to stand on because you weren't the party. You were just a witness called by them. And it's just there, obviously, you can see number 3. The trial court erred in denying the demurrer and plea in bar and in ruling as a matter of law that the 3 allegedly defamatory statements in the challenged op-ed are actionable as statements of fact rather than non-actionable expressions of opinion and actionable as defamation by implication. Yeah, she really has nothing to stand on here. She's just literally throwing everything out and seeing what she can get for it, which is kind of interesting to see. But the way that she's gone on about this, sorry, I'm doing a quick look by here. It's just the way that she's going on about things. It's like, really? This is what you want to do? But, number 4, it does continue. Trial court erred in excluding from evidence at trial the judgment of the case. The trial court erred in excluding from evidence at trial medical records, including her contemporaneous communications with medical providers such as Laura Anderson, Kipper, Debbie Lloyd, Erin, Amy Banks, Connell Conwyn, and Dr. Bonnie Jacobs, and AH's communications with several third parties, including Mr. Depp's employees and her employees, friends, families, by interactions with Depp, including reports of this, and her fear for her safety. But if you also remember, though, she actually said she didn't want certain things going out there. Some of them are by here. So it's like, come on, Then you got number 6. The trial court erred in admitting evidence at trial related to her pledge to donate money to charity and evidence related to her alleged this of third parties. Again, with the evidence, she said that she donated the money, that it was already gone. And she was using donate and pledge and all this as the same thing, which they're not. Again, remember, a jury of her peers. They saw all the evidence that was pushed forward. And they're like, yeah. She wanted things, again, which is another thing which really cracked me up about it as well, is, if you remember, when she goes, I'm going to appeal this and everything else, Judge Penny said to her, if you want to appeal, you have to unseal everything. And she was like, oh, okay, just do it. But she sealed things from evidence beforehand, which she said she didn't want in the trial. But now she's trying to say, well, this should have been in it. Well, that's your fault. No one else's. Cracks me up. Going on, obviously, trial court erred in excluding evidence of trial Mr. Depp's reputation as it existed prior to publication of the challenged op-ed and after it was published. He's always been known as a nice guy until she put out the op-ed and stuff. Yeah. Trial court erred in sustaining an objection during the cross-examination of Mr. Depp to a question about the truth of one of the alleged statements on the ground that it called for a legal conclusion. Again, her side did the same. Trial court erred in allowing Mr. Depp to argue or suggest at trial that the jury could award damages based on statements or conduct occurring prior to the publication of the challenged op-ed. Well, the op-ed made him lose pirates. That was already established by people who work in the industry who were working on pirates. The trial court urged allowing Mr. Depp to argue or suggest a trial and the jury to consider whether the alleged defamatory statements in the challenged op-ed were republications of statements she made in 2016 in connection with this against Mr. Depp. Again, she said she had to do that because her lawyers told her to, and that it was all a lie. You know, it's mind-blowing that they put all this forward. It's like, do you really think that people don't remember what you've done? Do you think people don't remember what you've said in other text messages, in recorded videos and everything else? It's absolutely so funny. Then you got this by here. The trial court, which rejected proposed jury instruction CC, improperly instructed the jury on actual malice. It did not. It's just so funny reading this. Then you got these, obviously. The trial court erred in denying the motions to strike and to set aside the jury's verdict with regards to Mr. Depp's failure to prove publication. By here the statement, I spoke up against this. That has to change. Well, no. They didn't erred in denying the motions to strike it. They didn't. Remember, we watched the entire trial on our channels. You were all with us. You know, we were there 10 hours a day. When the court wasn't in session, when it was a break time, we were going over evidence. We were going over all the documentation. Just go back and watch them all if you still think that she's the one who's like, oh, I've been done wrong. No, she stepped out and did this on purpose. And nowadays, you're seeing stories come out from people who weren't involved, who were there and they know her and they got photos with her, and she's turned out to be some kind of madam. It's like, what? So she is literally a hooker's pimp. That's exactly what she was. It's absolutely hysterical to see all of this. It's so gone regarding Mr. Fred to prove that idea. They got that one there. Then it goes, obviously, the trial court erred in denying the motion to set aside the jury's verdict with regard to Mr. Depp's failure to prove that the defamatory statements in the challenge each conveyed a defamatory meaning about him by implication, and that any such implication was both designed and intended by her. We got the emails. We got emails from her. We got emails from her ACLU and her lawyers, and they're all stating, hell, the guy in court for ACLU, he even said she wanted to put more Johnny Depp into it. This is what really cracks me up about everything that she's trying to do. It's like, yeah, you've lost this already, because this is going in, they're going to read all of this. Judge Penny, if she does become the court and everything else, are going to go, no, everything was right. And again, we've seen how certain things like this go. Going on there, so the trial court erred in denying the motions to strike and to set aside the jury's verdict with regard to him to prove actual malice by clear and convincing evidence. It was there. It was all there. The evidence was there. They saw it. She put it forward. She even threw her own law team under the bus. When literally Camille's there talking to her about evidence, and she goes, well, I gave all that evidence to my lawyers. She threw them under the bus. The trial court erred in denying the motions to set aside the jury's verdict and in ruling that the jury's verdicts in favour of Mr. Depp on his claims against AH and in favour of AH on her claims that against Mr. Depp were not inherently and irreconcilably inconsistent. Yeah, it's not looking good, is it? For her. And number 16, the trial court erred in denying the motion to set aside the jury's verdict and upholding the amount of the jury's damages award in light of A, Mr. Depp's failure to prove damages and the excessiveness of the compensatory and punitive damages awards. She doesn't like that she has to pay so much. Sorry, you lost him $42 million. $22 million up front for Pirates 6. But no, you just carry on saying that you've been wronged and everything is just really bad for you because it's not. You're living your life in Spain at the moment, for which, again, who's paying for that? People want to know. You know, we've said this a couple of days ago. When you go out there and you say that you're having money problems, you've got to pay $10.35 million to Johnny Depp at this moment in time. Your court bills are over $15 million. That's $25.35 million you currently own. Your net worth is minus $6 million. again, you're not exactly an actress who has millions and millions put away, because for your films, Aquaman was the most you've ever been paid for a role, and that was $1 million. So when you're looking at everything else now and thinking, oh, yes, look at this, you've told the world you got money problems. You told the world that you can't afford to pay him. You told the world that now literally is everywhere, or people close to you as have, and you know, your PR company and everything else, that you can't pay anything. But here you are, globe-trotting the world. Who's paying for all of that, Amber? Are they going to help you pay for this? Because it's not looking good. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for future updates, and I'll see each and every one of you soon.